Hello, my name's Nick. I do the watch-alongs on Hammers Chat. You can also follow me on TikTok, Hammers Chat Nick, if you like more of this nonsense. Here are 5 things that I would like to be changed for the Arsenal game. They might not be entirely 5. They might blur into 6. It might not be entirely cogent and logical. I'm wearing my dressing gown. I don't mind admitting that because it's cold. And the cost of heating in Keir Starmer's Britain is ridiculous. So, getting into the 5 things, 5 changes that I would like to see. One is Graham Potter's been a bit too nice. So he's done the nice stuff, like fine. And some of the people in the chat on the watch along yesterday were saying, I can't believe fans are turning on Potter. I don't think anyone's really turning on him. I mean, if you just bipolar people might be, but I think he's the right man for the job. I like him long term. Yes, good, fine. Graham Potter, good, excellent, good manager, fine, no problem. And I think that he had to be nice coming into the job, specifically to the underperformers, let's say Paqueta and Kudus. Now, with premise, to set the premise, first, I want them to do well. Paqueta, Kudus, okay, good, they're West Ham players, fine. Why are you digging them out, not others? It's not that. The point is, they have the talent, but they're not deploying or employing their talent on the football pitch. It's not happening. And we thought that Paqueta maybe got a bit better with his performances in the last couple of games. Potter came into the job and his only option was to be nice and to big up the egos, to be the arm round, to say, oh, Lucas, you're so wonderful, you're a wonderful footballer. So in the media, he was coming out saying, we've got to build him up, we've got to tell him how important he is to us. Yeah, okay, that's basically the only option for Potter at that point, because you can't come in and be like, oh, he's been underperforming, drop him. I think that'll just take you down a vicious downward spiral of errors, rather than what we've got now is he tried to be nice. He tried to say, yes, you're very good, Lucas. It hasn't worked. Because again, that performance yesterday was a nothing performance from a midfielder. That's part of the midfield. It's not just defend, attack. What does the midfield do? To midfield isn't a verb. So therefore, what do? Take control of the game. What does that mean in real terms? That means showing for the ball, going to the ball that your teammate is in possession of and offering yourself as a way for them to pass to you. That's just one of the basic parts of being a midfielder. And he didn't really do that. There are lots of other parts that he didn't do either. So when you have a player of Lucas Paqueta's ability, technical ability, if he's still not doing it on the football pitch, where that game yesterday was so boring, such a bad game of football, particularly the first half. Yeah, we got a bit better in the second. If you're not going to be the midfielder and force your teammates to put all possession and play through you as it happens on the pitch, if you've got the ability of Lucas Paqueta, but you're not actually just doing that through effort and mentality and will, when your manager has already given you all of the confidence boosts he can pretty much do, unless Graham Potter comes out in the press conference and just has written poetry about Paqueta and sings a song about that he loves him, what else can he do? He's already said, you're amazing, Lucas. We love you, we love you. We love you. Get onto the pitch, play with effort, more energy. That's why managers always talk about intensity. What does that mean? It means showing for the ball, having the play go through you, taking control of things with possession and release in smart, intelligent ways. But he didn't do that. The problem is that we've seen him not do that for too long in his West Ham career. He has the high moments, then he just disappears away for a few games. It's just not good enough. So I don't mind if we sell him in the summer. Where does he go to? What money do we get? The money doesn't even matter because we're not really being smart with money anyway. So, thanks, Paqueta. I wish you well in your career, but I don't think it's with us. Kudus, world-class ability, just unbelievable ability, what he can do, what we've seen him do. I always go back to the Man City away goal. What kind of player against Manchester City away chests it up to assist yourself in an overhead kick? Like, that level of ability is just unbelievable, off the scale. But he's not doing it. And now we've got a new manager. He's still not doing it. He's still, every single time he gets possession, he has to try to just keep it to himself, hold off the play and take one on. I think in the second half I saw him release it a couple of times to Ward-Prowse and a couple of times back to Scarles. But apart from that, through the 90 minutes, he wants to keep possession too much. Now, Kudus has a lot of followers and fans and online, if you say anything about him, say, why are you singling him out? He's an amazing player, but for West Ham, he's just not doing the basics. He's insisting on trying to retain it, spin and turn every time. It's predictable. Everyone knows what he's doing on the opposition team. It doesn't work, but he just keeps doing it. Frustrating. So for the next games, I promised you 5 things that no one cares about changing it. So yeah, the first one, just to really sum up this numerically, Graham Potter needs to stop being nice. He doesn't have to be, mean. He doesn't have to lay into players. He just has to say what you did. Let's just go through that 90 minutes. Let's watch the video back. It's just not good enough. It's not what's expected of you as a professional footballer for West Ham. So he needs to be not nice, but just explain to people they're not doing well enough. He needs to drop Paqueta and Kudus because too much time has gone on. Time is a factor, absolutely. Game 3, Game 5, players still not doing it. Game 10, still not doing it. How many games are you going to give them? I don't know some of them probably won't be back, but we've got Guilherme. We can get on to him later. So anyway, point number 2 would be drop Paqueta and Kudus and say effort and intensity. If you want to give them labels, that's not good enough, what you did in the last several games. Number 3, Alvarez. Funny player. He can do 5 out of 10 things and 8 out of 10 things in the same game. So he does a good bit, and then he's just bland and disappears. And again, the basics of showing for possession. Are you going to run to your teammate, give them the eyes, I'm here for possession, give it, turn, take it, do something with it, not just a backwards pass. So the confusing thing was that Andy Irving, I thought, had a fantastic game for us against Chelsea. I thought he was really good. I honestly think he suffers from fashion. I think if he was called Andreas Irvinho from Brazil or Italy or wherever, he'd get more game time. Against Chelsea, what he did, not through just heroic sliding tackles, but just intelligence, he intercepted and made tackles, but they weren't just like body in tackle, anything so noticeable. But it was winning possession. He won possession a lot against Chelsea, and when he's on the ball, I'd say 95% plus of his passes to his teammates are not only accurate but smart and the right decision. And then he doesn't get any game time. It's confusing. It doesn't make sense. If you're going to start with, even if you say Paqueta was higher, if you're going to have 4 players which are Alvarez, Souček, Soler, who did nothing. He's not even in the 5. That's how invisible he was. Soler and Paqueta. Then you've got those players who don't really offer anything. Souček will pop up with goals. A lot of people say he's to blame for us being slow. He's proven to score. In the course of a season, Souček will get you goals. And he does play well, so it's worth having him on the pitch. But if you have Souček and Alvarez, I don't really know what they do with the football. But I've seen Andy Irving enough now to know that he needs more starts. He needs to start the game. So that would be the third thing. Start him against Arsenal and drop Alvarez because he doesn't really offer anything. Point number 4 is just very simple. Start Skulls. Every time Skulls has come on now, we've seen him enough. Time is a factor. Frequency is a factor. We've seen him now 3+ times doing well. For this season, starting him for every game through to the end of the season is going to give him incredible experience so that when we start again in August, he's got all of that experience behind him. Emerson doesn't really offer that much. Decent player. He's got the ability, but he lacks, again, to keep saying the word intensity, drive, I could change it to, energy. Skulls has got that. Just give him the experience. That's the other thing. Number 5, start Ferguson. He did well. He was the good thing about yesterday. He came on, and having the striker focal point, why do teams have a striker? Why has football been set up this way? Why is the phrase focal point in existence? Because it's not only about what they do on the ball, but it's about the different hypothetical problems that having a actual striker might pose their defence and how it changes the opposition's mindset. So he did all of those things very well. He didn't just wait in the box, as Nicholas Fulkrug did in his few appearances for us. Ferguson came to wherever the play was and got involved in it well, with high technical ability of taking it and then releasing it to his teammate in difficult situations. He didn't really have any service or balls through. He played that nice cutback to Kudus, who from 7 yards out had to hit the target at least. And he manufactured a shot for himself. He's a bit rusty, so it wasn't in the corner, it was to the keeper. But I thought he did well strong athletic, technical ability, mentality, got involved. Clearly, he's just a decent person, very good footballer. Start him against Arsenal. That's 5. But the confusing situation, the Guilherme situation is so confusing. Graham Potter definitely knows more about football than all of us, than me, than you, than all of us. He must. It must be true. But you give him 7-8 minutes against Chelsea, and Guilherme comes on and runs, drives, takes it forward, effort, will, turns, counters, did things that the big name players on the pitch weren't doing. And then you're 1-0 down. It's so confusing. You're 1-0 down in an unbelievably bad game of football against Brentford, who have just given up and are sitting back at this point. And then you bring Guilherme on, I think it was 87 minutes. Why? Why would you give him 7 minutes? Why is giving that type of player in that type of game 6 minutes good by giving him 16 minutes bad and giving him 26 minutes bad and worse, 36, or the second half? It's just so confusing. Why did Potter do that? So for the game against Arsenal, I'd still start Ariel in goal. Obviously, the goalkeeper situation is another video that Gio and Gonzo might come up with because we need a goalkeeper in the summer. Ariel to start back. Todibo, Kilman, Soufal I'd bring back. Soufal had a decent game in his last 2 showings for us in that position where he's got very, very specific jobs to do. He's still too old and creaky and can't run anymore. We need upgrades in the summer. But for now, I'd still go Todibo, Kilman, Soufal, obviously Mavropanos. What's the point of even discussing that? He made an okay tackle once, I saw. Still a liability. That's the back 3. Scholes on the left, Wan-Bissaka on the right. Then I'd have Irving and James Ward-Prowse ahead of the defence. I thought Ward-Prowse came on and actually did well in the second half. I think he has something to prove, and he had more energy, much more link-up play than Alvarez was offering. So I'd have Irving, James Ward-Prowse. And then 3 ahead of them, I'd have Guilherme on the left. It won't happen. So it can't happen, apparently. He can't start a game of football. Bone on the right, Ferguson up top. And I'd say to Paquetá and Kudus, get your act together. We all know you've got the ability. But it's time for the stick, not the carrot. And it's time for them to know they can be dropped. I would love Kudus to get back to his best with us. I would love to keep him at West Ham. I would love if he would use his ability, he could become something of an icon, if not a legend, because he's got the ability, but he doesn't want to do it for whatever reason. So, substitutes. Bench for him. So I will be doing the watch-along Arsenal game Saturday the 22nd, 3 p.m. Please join me. It'll be me by myself because Northey has a ticket to go to the terrible Emirates Stadium. Listen to the stupid song that they sing before kickoff. That was made up. Watch the ultras wearing black. They made up doing that. Flags, drums, a lot of made up. I still think, stupidly, I believe we could get something out of that game because of the injuries they've got. If we approach it in the right way, come back to the way that Brighton beat Chelsea, 2 games in a row in the same way. And that Hertzler, before the second of those games, he brought up that word again, intensity. And it was, they beat Chelsea. The tactics were good and the structure was good. The way players set up to exchange passes through the midfield and on the wings, it was all good. But they also beat Chelsea through mentality and just belief and energy. Wouldn't even quite say passion, but those kinds of things. So that showed that Brighton approached those games. Yeah, they were at home. They approached those games in a way where they believed they could beat Chelsea, and they did it. I think if we play, we beat them last season there, that game's winnable or definitely drawable. I don't see why we couldn't. Is that stupid dreaming? Anyway, join me for that game. Follow me on TikTok, Hammers Chat Nick. I don't mind begging. And thanks very much for listening to my nonsense. Bye.